Morning Year 4 and welcome to Tuesday's maths lesson. Now I am going to be using the PowerPoint slide quite a lot in this lesson because it's got lots of things on there to show you. So it will be more me in the tiny corner, so you might have to drag me around a little bit so that you can see all of the information on the PowerPoint. Sorry about the beeping in the background. My washing machine's just decided that it's going to finish. In fact, I'm going to pause. Sorry about that. The joys of filming at home. So anyway, 2D shapes. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to do a little starter activity and then we are going to move on. Now today is more of a revision of things because we have done work on geometry before. Now we have done work on geometry before, but we need to go back over it to make sure that it's really in your head. So today we're going to understand the properties of our 2D shapes. So you should be able to name them. You've been doing it since year 2 and year 1. In fact, you've been doing shapes since reception. So you should be able to name all the 2D shapes. We're going to talk about how many sides they've got, how many vertices, how many lines of symmetry, the types of angles they've got, whether the shape's regular or irregular, and whether it's a quadrilateral or not. Okay, so these are all terms that you've come across before. Now, before we do that, you can do a little bit of a starter activity. So you're going to pause the video in a moment. Now, if you can't order 4-digit numbers, you can see that there's some 3-digit numbers there for you to do instead. So you're going to choose either or, you're not going to do them both. And you can see that you need to order them from the smallest to the largest in your book. All right. So pause the video, order your numbers, and then get your pen ready to mark them when you switch it back on. I'll just give you a second to pause. Right, how did you get on with that? I reckon you were fantastic. So make sure you've done it, and then I'm just going to turn it over now, and again pause the video so that you can mark your work. Okay, who got them all right? Well done. Now, like I say, it's something you've done before. We're just doing lots of revision to make sure that we bring that back and you still understand things. So moving on then, when I'm talking about the properties of 2D shapes, I might be using some of the language that you can see below. So 2D meaning two-dimensional. So we might talk about a curved side or curved edge on our shape today. We might talk about the longer side or the shorter side, and the sides being around the edge of the shape that join together to give it the actual shape. We might be talking about straight lines. We are definitely talking about 2D, two-dimensional, equal, so meaning they are the same size. Vertex or vertices, where two of your sides join together. We might talk about the length. Symmetry, so how many lines of symmetry does the shape have? So let's move on. We're also going to be looking at obtuse angles, so angles that are bigger than 90 degrees, right angles and acute angles. These are key facts you learnt in year 3, perpendicular, which is where lines meet at 90 degrees, or parallel, so lines that never meet. They're the same distance apart and they'll never meet whichever direction they run in. So you might talk about those today as well. So another term I want to introduce to you are regular polygons. So a polygon being a shape with straight sides. If all the sides are the same length, the shape is regular. They have they have equal sides and equal angles. All right. If they don't have equal sides and equal angles, then they are an irregular polygon. Okay, a polygon being a shape with straight sides. So just to show you some examples of irregular shapes here. Now, an irregular pentagon is still a 5-sided shape, but you can see it's not the pentagon that you would be thinking of. An irregular octagon, 8-sided shape, but not what you would be thinking of. An irregular hexagon, 6-sided shape, But then we've also got some other irregular shapes down here that you might be more familiar with. So a trapezium, a parallelogram, a right angled triangle, an isosceles triangle. You could have a scalene triangle on there as well. A rectangle or oblong, and a rhombus. Remember, this shape is a rhombus. It's not a diamond, it is a rhombus. So, looking at a circle then, what do you think? What could you do? What could you answer? Shout them out at the video as we're going through. So it's got let's go back, sorry. It's got one curved side. Now, I don't know why they're not coming up. Sorry. It's got one curved side and no vertices because it's got nowhere where two edges meet. It's got infinite lines of symmetry and it's got no parallel lines, okay? Now, moving on to how many straight sides has our shape got? I don't know why it's doing this. It's decided that it wants to play it today. So how many straight sides has our equilateral triangle got? There we go. It has got 3 straight sides. You can see them coming up. How many vertices? Well, you can see that it's got 3. 1, 2, 3. How many lines of symmetry? 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. Now that is because it's an equilateral triangle. That's why it's got 3 lines of symmetry. Okay, it's the only triangle that is a regular polygon. It's got 3 acute angles and it has got no pairs of parallel lines. You might want to note some of these facts down, or you might just want to watch the video again when you do the work. So a square then. How many straight sides can we see on our square? Well, that's nice and easy. 4, and they're all equal. Really important. It has 4 vertices. It has 4 lines of symmetry. You can see 1 down the middle, 1 across, and then 2 diagonal. Each interior angle is a right angle. Okay, so they're all 90 degrees in there. So 4 right angles. It has got 2 pairs of parallel lines, and it has got 4 pairs of perpendicular lines. All right. So trapezium, we have an irregular shape now. So it has got 4 straight sides, 2 equal length sides. So the diagonals, the ones that are going diagonal, they are the same size. Again, it has 4 vertices because it is a quadrilateral. It is a 4-sided shape. It has 1 line of symmetry, 2 acute and 2 obtuse angles, and 1 pair of parallel lines. Lines that will never ever meet. Okay. So rectangle, we can also call it an oblong. Looking at our rectangle, we've got 4 straight sides, 2 long, 2 short, 4 vertices, 2 lines of symmetry, not 4 like the square. Each angle is 90 degrees because it is a right angle. It has got 2 pairs of parallel lines and 4 pairs of perpendicular. If I don't mention that on a shape, that's because it hasn't got any. So a rhombus, irregular shape. It is also a quadrilateral with 4 sides and they are equal in length. It has got 4 vertices, or you might call them corners. It has 2 lines of symmetry. It has 2 pairs of interior angles. So they're both, that means they're the same size. So there's 2 acute and 2 obtuse. So those opposite angles are equal. And it has 2 pairs of parallel lines. Okay. So then we're moving on to our regular pentagon, 5-sided shape. It has 5 vertices. It has 5 lines of symmetry. It has 5 obtuse angles, and it has no pairs of parallel lines. With a regular shape, so a regular pentagon, regular hexagon, regular octagon, nonagon, decagon, because their angles are the same size and because their sides are of equal length, they have however many sides they've got is how many lines of symmetry they've got. That's the easy way to remember it. So hexagon, you should be able to work that out now. 6 sides, 6 angles, 6 corners, 6 lines of symmetry. So 6, 6, 6, 6 obtuse angles, and it's got 3 pairs of parallel lines that you could see on the video there. A heptagon, so 7 sides. Okay, so that can help you work the rest out. Okay. Obtuse angles, no parallel lines. None of those lines there are parallel. Octagon, also regular octagon. So we know it's got 8, so that helps us work out the rest. I don't want to keep repeating it all. And this one's got 4 pairs of parallel lines. 8 sides, 4 pairs. Nonagon, so a 9-sided shape. So that helps us work out the rest. 9 obtuse angles, no parallel lines because they're not opposite. Decagon, 10, helps us work out the rest. Ten obtuse angles, 5 pairs of parallel lines. Okay, 10 sides, 5 pairs. So then I said you might need to talk about which shapes are quadrilaterals today. So looking at other shapes, we've got parallelogram, trapezium, a rhombus, a rectangle or an oblong, a kite, and a square. All right, so those are the ones I want you to focus on today. Types of triangle. So we've looked at these before and you'll be doing some more work on these later on in the week as well. So our only regular triangle is our equilateral. The rest are irregular. This word hypotenuse, that just means the longest side. It's not, you don't need to remember it, the same as you don't need to remember any of the angles in it. You just need to remember those features. So isosceles, 2 equal sides, 2 equal angles. Right angle, 1 angle's got to be right, so that, and then you've got the other 2, and then scalene, all sides are different, all angles are different. So today, your activity, number 1, draw the shapes in your book and label the properties of them. All right, circles, I want you to write the name, the number of sides, the number of vertices, types of angle, number of lines of symmetry, and I've put the shapes on there that I want you to do. Circle, equilateral triangle, square, rectangle, pentagon, hexagon, octagon. Squares and pentagons exactly the same, but I want you to write whether the shape is regular or irregular, and I would also like you to say whether it's a quadrilateral, and the additional shape is a parallelogram. Hexagons, same as squares and pentagons, but your additional shapes are a right-angled triangle, an isosceles triangle, a rhombus, and a kite. Then there is an activity 2, which looks like this, and these are the ones that I want back. So I've added some extra notes on there for you. So you can draw onto these, all right? You can use the pen tool and draw on them. Okay, so you need to answer fluency 1, 2, and 3. Reasoning 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's a problem solving one. Circles, I would expect you to do this. Squares and pentagons, additionally, to do this. And then hexagons, you should be having a look at this one as well. Excuse Joe, he's just trying to show off his smashers thing. Right, so I'm going to stop sharing now and you can see me back. Sorry I've been on that screen for so long. But good luck with your maths today, and I look forward to seeing your deepening understanding resources, so the fluency ones returning. and we will have a look at those, and I will feed back to you on those ones. So have a good lesson. Bye.